Alrighty, ladies, what time it is? What time it is?
It's time for me to figure out this damn chair.
The struggle's
This
real over
got
there.
this complicated ass chair. There are like 4 different knobs on this damn thing. And now it's like permanently stuck, leaned back, like I'm just
Okay, Fat
about to
Joe.
go drive somewhere. Like
Come on, Remy.
Permanently. I wish I could show y'all this damn chair. Like...
Done with you. All right. What time is it? Ask your aunties. All right, who wants to read it this week?
I'll read. Hey, aunties, do you truly enjoy
what? Ooh, new one.
Oh,
yeah.
Never mind.
Remix.
Look.
Florio.
Right.
Look.
We saving that one for another episode.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Forget that. All right. How many times do you keep trying social groups before you decide it's not working? How many times do you keep trying new social groups before you decide you're just not clicking with anyone and that it's not going anywhere?
Ooh, that's a good one. I feel like it's different at the age I am now than it is maybe or was maybe in my early 20s or even teenage years and things like that. I feel like it changes maybe by decade or by even half a decade. Mm-hmm. Because I find the older I get, the less time, maybe it's not less time, but you're more picky with the time that you do have and who you want to spend it with. Mm-hmm. But then also it makes it harder too, because a lot of folks get that way and you kind of stick with the friend groups that you like really love already. So as many times as I've moved, I do find that latter piece being a lot harder because friend groups, like, I get it. Like, you get picky with your time. And when you do have the time, I'm going out with these same people. Mm-hmm. I'm catching up with them, and then I'm going back home because I either got to work in the morning, I got kids, I got whatever it may be. So I feel now you kind of know a little quicker too. Like, okay, they was cool, but I don't feel like following up ASAP. If I see them out, cool. If not, cool. But if I like you, then you're probably going like, let's do dinner. You come over to dinner and things like that. You find ways to kind of find that connection more so. Where in my early 20s, I was like, hey, I'll see you at the bar and don't even barely know you and see you at the bar again. Hey, girl, what up? Because you just really want to party and it is what it is. It's a social atmosphere and you just living life. It gets a little harder when you get older because the body just doesn't recoup as quick either. So I think now, I would say now at 38, I'm more aware earlier on that it's probably not going to be something that I'm going to invest too much energy and time into, or easier to identify folks that I want to invest more time into, especially now, even like in Philly, be like, okay, a couple people I've already met, cool, nice people, but I don't know if we're on that same level quite yet or whatever it may be, and still kind of figuring that piece out. But it's fairly quick for me.
Take you? Yeah, how long does it generally take you?
I probably got an inkling in the first meeting. That's not to say that I won't still be like, okay, well, if you guys are out, I'll hang out with you and say hey to you. But it might not be one where I'm texting you to follow up and, hey, what are you guys doing this week? Or let's make a plan in 3 weeks when we're all finally have time free again. Yeah. So I think fairly early on I could tell if it's going to be something more than just a social aspect versus someone that's really going to be in my life.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Jarrell?
I don't really have a lot of social groups. I find every time that I grow as an individual, I find myself then having a social group that fits that period of my growth. Mm-hmm. I have my core group from Minnesota who were the chosen family that I met when I was coming out. And I was first going into the bars and we were, in college and, just turning up when, had to snatch waist and all the rest of that. And then I have like you all who fall into that part of my time when I was in my later 20s, where I was really starting to come into it and really focusing on adulting. And then so I have you all and that social group. And then I have my social group here in Seattle that consists of like 5 people, but they're like the first time that I've ever moved away and found family
Mm-hmm.
in this new land that I now live in, you know. But for the most part, I don't try to fit in other groups because I just know that I don't like everybody and everyone don't like me. So I don't even bother with trying to find a group because I always know that there's going to be that one person I do not like. And I don't do fake and phony. So I won't even be a part of a group where there's at least one person. If there's one person in that group that I don't fuck with, I am not doing it. I'm sorry. Because I know that at some point I'm going to slap the fuck out that bitch. So I'm just going to avoid the whole group, and I would pick out the individuals in that group that I want to do some one-on-one time with. And
Yeah.
then if I want to throw a party, then I'll invite all the cool people that I have surrounded myself with and throw a party. And it's crazy because every time I do that, people be like, you surround yourself with the best people and like there's never any drama and you don't got to worry about it. And that's like because I make sure that I keep certain type of energy around in my life. And so in social groups, you don't often find that same matched energy. And I don't have that time. I don't have that desire to be trying to be around people that's not on my same frequency. Outside of that, the only other time I will try a social group is if I'm doing like a sport. If I'm playing like
Mm-hmm.
volleyball, if I'm on a volleyball team, if I'm on a dodgeball team or a kickball team, at that point, that's as close as I consider a social group. And I see you on the court. I might have a drink with your ass afterwards as a team. But like Corel said, I'm not texting you being like, hey, what you doing afterwards? And
Yeah.
no, I prefer that individual connection. I got enough chosen family in my groups that I don't need any other social groups. I'm Gucci. So yeah.
And it's fine
So
to
how many
have the
times?
different like pockets, I feel like too. Like it's fine to
Yeah.
have that sports social group and maybe the folks that you call on when you in to go just turn up at the club and the one that you want to knit at home, I don't know, play
Right.
board games at home or whatever. And I think that's fine to have those different collections of groups as well, the kind of the different parts of your being, because not everyone wants to do everything
So
that you're interested
Yeah.
and that's a good point. And that's why I love the social groups that I'm in because everyone is fucking unique. Like some people are into theater, some people are into sports, some people are into fashion, some people are into just being homebodies, like some people are into traveling. Like so I get all those aspects, all those different parts
Mm-hmm.
in my social groups already that I don't need those mini pockets because someone in my group already scratches that itch for me. So I'm Gucci, you know.
Yeah.
But those are hard to come by. Those are honestly hard to come by. Um, the only reason why I stumbled into the one that I have now in Seattle is because our common denominator was volleyball. For our core group that I have with you all, our common denominator is Chicago.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then from the ones that I have back in Minneapolis, our common denominator is like literally coming out and growing into being legal drinking adults.
Yeah.
So like there's something
I
that
like the
still
key on
pushes
legal.
legal, right? Because we ran from the popo a couple times, but so there was at least one common denominator, but we left room for making sure that other people could just be themselves outside of whatever that one thing that is that linked us together. So
What about
Yeah.
you, Dewan?
I'm just trying to put myself in their shoes. Like I have to assume that this is perhaps somebody who is fairly young in their maturity as a social adult, right? Um, or somebody that's newish to the scene, whatever their scene is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just trying to put myself back in that position of what was it like when I was, when I didn't have like a core group of friends, and I don't think there's anything wrong with exploring different social groups. I mean, obviously, when you're going out or meeting up with people, and you're being invited to join these different, because I mean, you just can't like walk up. I mean, you can, but it doesn't happen like this. You don't just like walk up to a group of people like, "Hey, can I hang out with y'all?" And then try to be like, "Let's see if this works."
Can I hang with y'all? Can I meet with y'all? Can I roll with y'all?
I mean, sometimes that might be a strategy and it could work, but usually it doesn't happen like that. So usually it's kind of like a situation where you have a common interest, like a sport or something like that, or it's a dating situation and you date this guy, this girl, or whatever. They introduce you to their friends, and that you see their vibe, and you become de facto part of their group because you're with the person that they know, and it just I'll just say it's important for people to recognize what you're looking for. Like if you're just looking to be surrounded by a bunch of people because you're looking at other people's Instagrams and you're seeing, pictures of them with like 15 different, gays or queens or lesbians or, or whatever, and you think that's the life for you, I mean, you can pursue that. I would offer that there's something more meaningful that's out there. And for me, I think my advice is go for those one-on-one interactions. Find somebody within the group that you feel like you can have some kind of a meaningful platonic relationship with. Not sex as a means to having a friendship or anything like that, but like really explore that. And I think that you'll find that the people that you gravitate towards through that lens it's much more intentional about how you engage with them, and then how they receive you, and then how they respond back. Um, the notion of like how many times do you try social groups before you figure out it's not working? Look, best advice I have is if it ain't working, do something different.
Yeah.
If you the minute that you figure out this maybe isn't for me, there are a lot of fish that are in the sea. There are plenty of opportunities out there. Even if you're in the smallest of small towns, there are communities, there are organizations. We live in a very hybrid world where even if you can't meet up in person, you can do things via Zoom. You can build connection via Zoom, so that you have that. But don't stay in a place where you don't feel that it's right for you. And if you're hopping around from group to group or whatever, maybe that's what you need to do for a little bit until you figure out what energy you need to be putting out there so that you can receive that same kind of energy back.
Yeah.
Actually, and I want to also share too, because I kind of, now that I think about this, I kind of did this year actually once I started with Amazon. And to Dewan's point, like I joined the Black Employee Network, which is called BEN, and that's part of Amazon's Black employees.
Ben?
And, yeah, Black Employee Network.
The two of us.
I'm thinking about Rice.
Oh, I was thinking about Michael Jackson and the Rat.
I'm like, okay.
But for Black History Month, they did a breakfast. And it was finally in person. And so I met this group of other Black folks who work at Amazon at my table. And we were like, you know what, like we're all new, like let's have a little group chat. And then we all did one happy hour, and then two of us clicked, and then it just became one-on-one. And then I introduced her to some of my people, and then she introduced me to some of her people. And now we have like this group of like Black Amazon employees, or just Black people in tech in Seattle, that we just hang out with now. We call ourselves the cousins because it's literally like hanging out with your cousins.
Yeah.
But it was something that just organically happened, that I just went to a network to be surrounded by what I was looking for, which is other Black people.
Yeah.
Okay. And then from there, I was able to network and connect with another individual that spawned into a group of our own. So kind of to Dewan's point, I think that's a very good idea, to go to an environment where you're surrounded by people that you're looking to want to be friends with, and maybe connect one-on-one versus trying to be like, well, who's the big group that's already there? Because the truth is, those groups are like the mean girls. They're the ones who be like, you can't come sit with us. We already got enough people. So find other people who are also maybe new in those groups and network with those individuals, because you already have something in common already by being
We
the new
got
people to
something
them.
in common.
So I would suggest probably doing that.
And I think it's the energy you put out is the energy you're gonna get back to. Like, because if you're going in there already like, well, bitch, I don't know who you is, and that's the energy you're gonna get back. You know, and sometimes we've all seen people like that. We're like, nobody wants to be your friend because you're not a kind person. Like, no one can stand your ass. And so sometimes you might need to check yourself. But like, what energy am I putting out? Am I putting out energy that somebody wants to even want to be my friend?
So I feel like there's a lot of people out there that just want to be part of a clique. You know what I mean? They want to be part of a clique. So their aspiration is to be part of that group, and so whatever that group is. And you know, I mean, everybody has their own journey. You know, so if that's the thing that you're on right now, you know, I mean, if you like it, I love it. But I do feel that, you know, people that are like trying to find something meaningful, that are trying to find something real and authentic, you move differently. And it starts with your intention. And there's so much in, I'll just speak on behalf of my experience in the gay world. There's so much like projecting that happens within our community of what life is really like. And when you really talk to like these other people that are out there, they're lonely as fuck. They may have 1,000 people that are around them. They may have people that are going out with them to bars every 5 nights out of the week. They may have amazing jobs and da 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 da, but they're really miserable. You know, and some of them are living their lives and living their fantasies. You know, so you have both of those spectrums. But at the end of the day, if you're not clear about what you're trying to go after, like if you're going after like the IG follower, I want to be, you know, the influencer in my city and da 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 da, you can go after that. You may or may not be successful. But I think if you go for people that go after more meaningful relationships where they are actually being open, authentic with other people, they're taking the first step to invite other people to do things and whatnot. I think the return that you get on that kind of investment is much more meaningful relationships that will last the years, not just, you know, light up your IG or your TikToks or, you know, whatever it is you're on.
And you know, I will say some of the like best memories that I've had, or like some of the deepest laughs where I've been laughing so hard that I probably cried, have also been in some of those one-on-one moments when you have with your bestie, where you be like, bitch, well, why don't we got a TV show, bitch? Because it's just funny as fuck. Like, you know, a lot of those times have actually happened on one-on-one moments. Not saying that they don't happen in groups too, because groups can be funny too, but like, you also get you can have that same kind of feeling just one-on-one with somebody as well too. So maybe figure out having a one-on-one person first before maybe trying to figure out 5, 7 different people to be junking your time with.
I met my best friend Milos. I know we had this question, like, do you call your best friend after a certain age?
Oh yes.
But I still say that.
I say it.
You call her sister too. I heard that. You're like, hey sister. I was like, oh, that's cute.
But we met literally on the dance floor on Pride weekend 21 years ago. And like, it just goes to show you that no matter where you are and what you're doing, both, you know, shirts off, shaking our tits for Jesus or whatever, and we, for whatever reason, we struck up a conversation with literally a conversation, and on the dance floor. And from that moment on, we were like besties, best friends across the miles, across the years, you know, and finally we're living in the same city. So my best friend lived, you know, so far away from me, 1,000 miles away from me. And this was not in a Zoom world or whatever. So like it took a lot of effort to maintain that relationship. But, you know, it just goes to show that when you put that kind of energy out there and being open and receptive, and you're just being genuine with people, you get that shit back. And it is some of the best gifts that you will ever receive 100%. In life. 1,
and you're doing what you're interested in. You know, that's maybe the foundation. Find people that, like, even like you said, influencer. even if it's an influencer and you guys are great at photography, you're great at videography and all this stuff, and
they know what I hit you with their angles, bitch. Like, oh no, I got
exactly. Like,
stay right there, Instagram.
You're now finding someone that's interested in the things that you are also interested in, and that's when your soul becomes happy. That's when your soul is just like, yes, you understand me. I see you. You see me. We see each other. You know. So those are the cool relationships, and it's also okay that it lasts a season though. Because sometimes we get so maybe like sad that we're like, man, I haven't checked in on that person. It's like, it's not that I'm not thinking of them and I can quickly say hey, but like I just don't have the time right now. It doesn't mean that you don't love them anymore, but just like sometimes the seasons come and you know what, next thing you know, 4 seasons down the line, you're back together. And you just never know. So like holding on to those that are near and dear to you, but it doesn't have to be some like movie moment. It could just be like, hey girl, I'm thinking of you, bye. You know, and kind of keep with those relationships. Or if you want to, obviously more than that. But like I feel like sometimes we try to make friendships look like it's some teen rom-com moment, and it doesn't have to look like that. It could be whatever you need it to be, as long as you each other are seeing each other for what it's worth, you know. And you don't have to explain that to anyone else.
But also, I have to say this though too. But also understand though that friendships are work too, though.
Oh, and it doesn't mean it's not work. It just means there might be times where you might not be as close as, like, say, if you're living in the same city and things like that.
Right. I'm not talking about to what you're saying. I was just saying it to the community that it's important that people know that friendships are work as well too, because you got to remember, like you were saying, it's a two-way street. Even though sometimes your street may be blocked off right now, just know at some point you're going to have to open your street up and pour back into that individual. Even if you are busy, just a simple text. Because let me tell y'all something. At the end of the day, now how technology is, it takes 5 seconds to send a text message just saying, hey, hope you're doing well. That's it. We don't have a full ass conversation, but a text message that takes 5 seconds go a long way as far as doing something. And a lot of people think that, you know, people are just supposed to be your friend. They're supposed to just show up, and they're supposed to go to your birthday party. They're supposed to go to your birthday trips and just go do this one. Like, no, but if you're not giving that to them, people ain't gonna show up for you like that. So don't expect people to show up for you and do those best friends things if you're not giving that in return. So just remember out there, people, that they are work. You're gonna have to put in to have that 21-year friendship, or like me and my bestie, we met at Pride as well too, 15 years ago. This Pride, yelling at each other, dancing with each other.
Were you dropping it low for Jesus too?
We were at the parade, okay? At the parade, dropping a low across the street, dancing with each other. So, you know, I mean,
that's right.
But we had to put in work.
Yeah.
So.
Well, community, if you're looking for a friend, you got 3 aunties right here. We'll be your friend as well. You know, come and join the community. And even if you don't want to talk to us, there's a whole lot of folks that listen to this podcast and, you know, are part of the community that maybe there's someone out there that wants to be your friend, and you guys have very similar interests.
Get into those
like
comments.
So
we make our posts, comments, and that's a great way to meet other people
1000%.
in the community through our comments on our Instagram and stuff like that as well too. So
1000%. So continue to send your questions to Ask Your Auntie, or your Ask Your Aunties questions to AYA@minorityReport.com or DM us.